Welcome back to part two. I stripped down all the paint on this 15-gallon tank. I took off all the hardware, took the wheels off, motor mounts, and I want to go over the door cutout here. What you want to do is you want to take your tape measure and go around the circumference of the tank. And I came up with 3'2", so that's 9.5 inches. If you cut it in quarters, you want to cut your door out in a quarter. So I'm going to cut a 9.5 inch door on this tank here. First thing you do is you want to get to the very top of the tank, and you want to get a straight edge, and right on the very top, go down with your marker and mark it all the way down. Next thing you want to do is you want to determine what size flat bar you want to use. I'm using 1¼ inch by 1/8 steel flat bar. Since I'm using 1¼ inch, 5/8 is half of 1¼ inch. So what I do is from this seam right here on the cap end, I came in 1 inch, and I did that all the way down, 1 inch all the way down. All the way down to here. Once you're determined that you're 1 inch all the way down, you want it from the top. You want to go 9.5 inches all the way down. And to get a straight line all the way through from top to bottom, I use a piece of sandcloth and I run my marker down there, or a piece of P-tape, plastic P-tape, and I'll just run it down. I'll do the same thing on this side over here. I'll go 1 inch from the edge here all the way down, 1 inch. It's even all the way through. Since I'm only going to have 5/8 of the flat bar will be here, and the other 5/8 will be on this side, preventing the door from collapsing and holding smoke and heat in. There it is. I used my flapper wheel and my grinder on that motor mount, and the flapper wheel just got it down to just smooth steel again. There's no bumps or dips in it. It works great. You want to make sure you use a cutting wheel, or if you use a Sawzall or a plasma cutter, a torch, whatever you got. If you use a grinder like I do, I don't have any of the other stuff. I have a cutting torch, but I like to use my grinder on cutting these. Let the wheel do the cutting, and it'll last you a lot longer. Be sure you have your safety glasses, ear protection, gloves, and make sure you know where your fire extinguisher is as well. Once you cut your door out, what you do is take your door down, just like I did here. I cut the door out already, and there it is. That's 1/4 of it cut out. What you want to do is you want to get your flapper wheel. I took the guard off so you can see the flapper wheel, and you want to run it all the inside where you cut out, everywhere. Just run it all the way around. There's going to be a lot of dust, so you might want to use a dust mask and keep all the doors open, or do it outside. I do them in the garage. And same thing on your door. You want to do the same thing. If you don't, make sure you wear gloves. You're gonna have a lot of shavings like this, and they will cut you. And the flapper will just make everything smooth. You can run your hands through, no problem. It's not a problem. All this rust there, I usually use my wire brush. I'll take down as much rust as I can. And I'll go through with the flapper wheel as well, and I'll just clean it up. I just went through it just a little bit. There it is. It's cut out. A quarter of the tank of the circumference, and depending on the size of the flat bar you're going to be using, you want to just go half of the flat bar from the edge you decide on. To cut. I want to go over some materials here. So I'm going to be using 1¼ inch flat bar here. by 1/8 inch thick. That'll be for the door. You'll be needing, I'll be needing about 6 feet. So 2 feet. 2 feet across there this way on both sides, and roughly about a foot on each end here. So I'm gonna need about 6 feet of this. This is 1/2 inch round stock. I'll probably need about a foot or less of this for the hinges. This is what I'll be using for hinges. This is 1/2 inch ID to internal diameter black pipe. It's just regular black pipe. And these are how I bend them. I bend the hinges down. I go 2 inches from end to center, 2 inches from end to center, both of them. Like I said, you could use your torch with oxygen acetylene. You set it up on your vise, or go with MAP gas and your torch. It takes a little longer, but you could do it. If you're gonna buy all your materials, all your metals, don't go down to the depot or down to the hardware store. I would suggest you go down and find your recyclers or a metal shop. You get a lot cheaper. You get a 20-foot stick. They'll cut it in half for you probably, and you'll get it for damn near the same price you could get it at the hardware store for. The hardware store, a 3-foot piece of stock where I live is $12 or $11. I got 20 foot of 1/2 inch round stock for $11 down at the metal place at the recycling center. Just go down there, introduce yourself, and try to make friends with them. Usually they'll cut you a deal. They'll give you discounts. Just being friendly to them, and they hook you up. I've gone down and talked to the guys down there, and they know me now. Every time I go down there, I get treated pretty well and get fair prices and stuff that I need. There's a door. You can see where the motor mount was. These are some of the tanks from or the inlets for the compressors. One there and one there. It's not a big deal. I'll just grind these down with my grinder, with my grinding wheel. Once I use my grinding wheel, you use your flapper and it'll smooth it out real nice. Any voids, it'll fill them in. It's no problem. Just cut a little piece of metal and I'll fill them in all the way through. Well, there it is. Next video, I'll show you guys the door, how the flat bar worked out, and we'll go over hinges. I'll have all the flat bar on and welded, and I'll show you tips on doing the hinges, where to place them, and we'll go over the flat bar as well on the edges. Again, like I said, depending on the size you use, I'm using 1 1/4. I'll show you tips on how to get nice corners on them, 45s, or you can just go straight down and not cut 45s. Either way, if you're going to do something, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So I usually try to do a good job in all my projects. Again, this is Project Smoke here. Any questions, just hit me up and I'll try to answer them as best as I can, or help out whatever I can whatever I can do, excuse me. Thanks again for watching.